Inside that skin foam, in the shape of the U sitting there, can you see, can you visualize tiny reddish beads, beads, very small beads, mustard size of beads, filling in that sac, filling in that skin sac. Just close your eyes, turn your vision inwards, and just to see, though you may see a darkness when you close your eyes, bypass that and forcibly see red pearls, red shining pearls of mustard seed size, completely filling inside that skin sac. Okay, that is that entity. One camera angle to look at it. It is one angle of the camera to look at it. Okay. For the sake of getting certain perceptions, certain fairy tale ideas about that entity sitting there live. Try to get rid of all the other thoughts. Just force your attention to see that sac, SSC sac, the skin container, sitting there in that foam. Okay, this kind of an imagery you can use at some later point of time, but with a little bit of a caution. You should have a water bottle always kept nearby. If your sensation catches that level of experience, there may be increased heartbeat, increased breathing, even if it is even 19, 18 degree cold, you may perspire, definitely, and you may feel like possibly a kind of a shock or a kind of a bewilderment, kind of an anxiety, a needless anxiety, or sometimes even a baseless fear. Your body may shiver when you reach that level of attention to that angle of looking at your internal referent, the reality of that creature, reality of that nature's product. And if you feel any anxiety, just stop the visualization, change your posture of the body and drink a little bit of water. And if the perspiration or increased breathing or discomfort continues, take water and splash it on both your eyes and ears and backside of the neck. Be very careful. Alright. So, that beads, that huge assemblage of reddish cells, massive assembly of cells, a universe of cells.
It's 22 hours.
And its processes and its existential details are controlled actually by the nerve fibers emanating from the so-called autonomic nervous system. I hope you can see the arrow moving. Autonomic nervous system. Autonomous, it is autonomous. You must have heard of autonomous universities. They have self-governance capacity. They are not completely controlled by University Grants Commission and so on and so forth, or government agencies. They have been given autonomy. So autonomous. So that autonomic nervous system is precisely that pink colored thing, starting from the base of the brain till the tip of the spinal cord. Okay. And the tip of the spinal cord, unlike that is shown in this diagram, is much more sharper, and that takes a 3-turn of coiling. That means there is a, what do you call it? A 3-turn, 3.5 exactly, 3.5 coiling, and the last portion is almost fixed inside that triangular bone at the hip called sternum, it's called sacral bone. That is not clearly shown in this diagram of the tip of the spinal cord. This central axis is the spinal cord. On either side it is shown for certain purpose. You will see that there are two representations with a certain purpose. Alright, so from this bottom part of the brain till the tip of the coiled portion of the spinal cord and connections from the spinal cord are together called autonomous or autonomic nervous system. This is the name. But that name is about this thing. This is named that. So try to see this exclusively. What is this? What a wonder is this? What a magic is this? It is a miracle. It is nothing but a miracle. It indicates the wonderful core design of the universe, where opposites meet and balance existence. It is the invariant, it is the very design of existence, like a dark and bright, okay, sun and the moon, okay, good and the bad, up and the down. So that primary paradox of existence, that paradox of everything is indicated in the very process of this autonomic nervous system. Of course, the paradox begins at the brain itself. As all of you know, the right side of the brain is generally connected to the left side of the body, and left side of the brain generally connected to the right side of the body. It could have been straight, why not? Right side of the brain to the right side of the body, left side of the brain to the left side of the body. What is the problem? If the so-called nature process can design this, it could have designed that way also. But that the truth of the universe process, that the opposites, so-called opposites, don't get confused by the word opposites. Okay? Mutually contradictory functioning entities. In that balance, the universe is created and the universe is maintained. Balancing of the opposites, like the man and the woman. Like I told you in some other contest that whoever tries for world peace is a fool, impossible, because 50% of the population will be definitely negative and 50 will be definitely positive. Nobody can do anything to that. So elements of evil will continue and elements of good also will continue to exist. And existence is the balancing of the good and the evil. Similarly, existence of the very body, very interestingly, is controlled by the mutually contradicting electrical impulses delivered by the autonomic nervous system. Like the positive and negative of the electrical currents. There is a similar positive and negative coming from the electrical waves generated and sent across the spinal cord continuously, all the time. And what is contradictory in that is, you will see in the diagram, in the top it is written sympathetic, and on the other side parasympathetic. So these are the same, only in the same spinal cord, Okay? There are two separate parts, almost like, from where nerve fibers go to every part of the body. See? Every significant part of the body. Very obviously indicated here. Look at the eyes, the cheeks, okay, the entire face, see, lungs, then the, I think, can you read it? Can you read the writings in the alright, okay. Alright, okay. So, main thing is to understand that wirings go from the autonomic nervous system to every part of the organs and cellular assemblies of the body. But with a difference. What is the difference? This diagram is not really indicating it by color. If you see, alright, a set of nerves from this side, from the sympathetic side, goes to eyes, etc., etc., etc. And a set of nerves from the parasympathetic side also go to the same things. Okay? In a practical sense, there is a logic for this wiring. So the sympathetic nerves are come from the middle portion of the spinal cord. Okay? And the parasympathetic, named parasympathetic, that means almost parallel, is from the upper portion of the spinal cord, called the cranial region, or the lumbar region, or the lower side of the region. See, the lower side, see, lower. So from the middle portion, wiring goes to all the parts of the body, and from the two end portions, nerve fibers go to the same parts of the body. That is the beauty. That is the magic which generates the mind. But in reality of the body functions, it is for a clear purpose, a clear requirement. For example, when somebody is running, the body, the muscles, etc. would require more blood supply. So in order for more blood supply, when the body movements are happening, the heart has to cooperate as a valve. Here also you must understand, a lot of, I would say, the Western medical sciences say that the heart is pumping the blood. Actually, heart is not pumping the blood. Heart is only a valve. Even a 50 horsepower motor cannot pump such a colloidal liquid like blood through all the veins and arteries of the entire body. So, the blood is a live amoebic creature. It is always in motion. So that motion is sort of regulated in one way and to come back the other way. That heart is that regulator. And in that regulator it does some pumping function also in order to maintain the flow of the blood. So the heart has to, for example, show its pumping activity little more. How it will do? The electrical impulses from the sympathetic region will flow more towards the muscles of the heart, as a result of which heart will pump more. Normally it is 72, it will go to 80, 85, 90, 95, 100, 120, 140 even, if somebody is really running. So the heartbeat or the pumping of the heart has to increase according to the flow of the blood through the body. So that must be supported by the electrical supply of the system, of the total cellular assembly. Energy received and processed from the food materials and nutrients and all that. Okay, the biochemical electrical process of the central nervous system. Now the person has stopped running and he is sitting under a tree. Now the heartbeat has to come down. So it is not done by just stopping the electrical impulses to the heart. There may be a reduction of that impulses, but at the same time there will be another set of impulses coming from the parasympathetic side to the same heart, by which the pumping of the heart will be reduced to bring it back to the normal. So that is the balancing process of these two. Similarly to the lungs, increased respiration and decreased suppressed respiration. So these waves have names like inhibitory wave and excitatory current, etc. Anyway, excitatory wave or excitatory current meaning it will increase the heartbeat, increase the lungs working, increase other glandular secretions, increase stomach activity, etc. etc. Alright? And there is inhibitory, it will put down, it will press down. They are all names. You understand the basic process, that's very important. Don't get all the more influenced by the names. See the way it is working in your body. Certain electrical impulses are delivered to increase the heartbeat. And when at other times certain electrical impulses are delivered to bring it down to the optimum. That's all you have to understand. And that understanding should be kept in mind. We have to discuss something more about that. Similarly, respiration. Increased respiration is required when you are running. Or, let us say, as the example of running only right now. And after that you stop and sit somewhere and have a cup of tea. Then it has to come down. So, first, inhibitory electrical impulses come from the parasympathetic side. Alright? Similarly, all the functions. You must read a critical part of the text if you want to develop more knowing, so that you get more comfortable with your understanding about the autonomic nervous system function. It is very important because of the main reason. In this cross-firing, okay, created is the so-called emotion, so-called mind, the mental aspect, or the so-called self. When you lie down in the night to sleep, if you want to locate that operating entity inside you, anyway, by my experience, you will feel that that entity is lying down at the back side of your body. You are lying on the back side. That is what I felt. Your attention will gradually get concentrated from the peripheries of the body, and it will go, and your attention will go and settle down along with the spinal cord lying down there. The brain and the spinal cord lying down there. Beyond which you cannot go. You can go also, but normally it is not that easy, it is not required also. So, from there is the light, that electrical energy is spread all over the body. And that is what certain mystics call the astral body. That astral, when your attention is focused to identify that inside you, or this is or the only way your attention can feel the interior of your body is by that vague touch only. You cannot touch, vague feeling only. Let us use the word feeling. That is the electrical field generated by this distribution of the nerve fibers from the autonomic nervous system, which goes to all over the body. There is another system called the peripheral nervous system. That means the nerve endings at the skin level. All are primarily connected to the autonomic nervous system. So, you are that autonomic nervous system. This is what I wanted to say. When you say thou art that, the referent, the foundation, the scaffolding of the that is this autonomic nervous system. If the that is cut, you are dead, the body is dead. So, that because if you sit down right there and try to feel your body, what do you feel? Can you feel the skeleton? Can you feel any part? You have only a general misty feeling throughout the body, a misty sensation. You cannot sense the so-called cells. You cannot sense even the heart or the lungs or the spinal cord or the vertebral column or anything. Directly, you can get a feel, you can get a temperature of that, you can get an electrical induction of that, you know. Or if you say rough way, you cannot touch it with your hand, for example. Like you touch a hot cup of tea, you feel hot on the skin of the fingers. That way you cannot sense the interior of the body. When your attention goes into the interior of the body, you will feel only a field, a general awareness spread throughout your body. That's what I am talking. And that awareness spread till the tip of the skin is actually the light, the electrical field sent from the central turbine, central supply system of the autonomic nervous system, the spinal cord. But redistributed through, you can see the spinal cord and the connection white and the pink color going to a parallel line here. See, it is there on either side. It is only one side shown. This kind of a line with a small bubble kind of thing, it is on either side of the spinal cord. You take another diagram, you will see that. Because laterally from the side of the vertebral column, okay, nerve endings go to either side of this line. It is somewhat like a transformers, okay, powerhouse, okay. This is like, let us say, the brain is the general turbine, generating the power. And that power is supplied through like a 110 kilowatt line. It goes to the spinal cord. And from the spinal cord, it is sub-supplies. There are about 36, I don't remember the number, you might know that. It goes to what you call small assemblies of neurons. It is called ganglions. It's all. You must have learned in your schools. Forget about the name. It goes to, I think better than ganglion, let us use the word transformer. So goes to this transformer, and like in our home supply, from that transformer, supply goes to heart, the liver, then the stomach, the intestines, etc., etc. The bladder, urinary bladder, the sexual region, and so on and so forth. So, why I told you this is, once in a while, when you are free, you have to take your attention, you have to redirect your attention to that field sensitivity inside. You have to remember what I said, or you try to feel the inside of the body. Try to feel the red jewels that fill the sac of your skin. When you do that, you will feel what you call only a total sensation. Some sensation. It is not even a sensation. The closest word is feeling. You will feel something inside. So that inside field is generated by the electrical supply covering the entire cellular world of the body. Like electrical supply comes to your house, from there to every bulb, every fan, every electric oven or iron box, or even supplied to the mobile phone. See? So your entire house is in an electrical field, actually speaking. If you bring an electrical sensor, a magnetic compass inside your house and enter into your house from the outside, all lights turned on, you will see the magnet, the indicator deflecting. There is an electrical field. So, it is the electrical field of the body that you feel. That is the you. It is very difficult to believe, because there is a lot of notions. Rather, that is the you in you. They use the word Brahman, Aham Brahmasmi, Aham this, Aham all this. I would say all this bullshit. Of course, I say that, but they had a purpose. Because unless they use those kind of concepts, people won't listen to that, people won't take it. And definitely people have not taken Aham Brahmasmi, no doubt about that. Because this field is definitely in linkage with the similar field outside the body. That you will know only when you feel what this field is sensing. The skin is not a disconnecting. It is, even when you wear clothes, of course cloth is a terrible damage to the sensation of the skin, no doubt about that. That is the tragedy of the human being. The electrical energy field of the body is simply cut off from its linkages with the universal energy field perpetually present outside by wearing a cloth. That is the tragedy, unfortunate predicament of the human beings. That's why all the mystics, they wore a simple cloth, and most of the mystics would have just a covering outside, no undergarments, underclothing, etc. That's why you must have seen when little children meaning age 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 onwards, when they remove their clothes, they will jump and dance and shout and sing. Unknowingly they feel that energy of the body. That's why almost everybody sings inside the bathroom, because they are confronting the sensation of the body in much a different way. Anyway, but once you practice your connection, but still in my experience it is very difficult. But once you establish your linkage with the external reality, a cloth doesn't matter much, no doubt about that, but that's okay. Coming back. Alright. That is why the Upanishadic truth that Aham Brahmasmi, that means Aham Brahmasmi meaning Brahman is the totality of the whatever, we use the word universe, word, blah blah blah. The totality outside. The totality outside is integrally connected with the totality inside. It is not that it goes only through the nostril. That only air is going through the nostril. But the field which I am talking, even air can be sensed, but the body cannot be sensed. The internal body cannot be sensed. Other than this way, you can be aware of an overall feeling spread throughout the body. That is the way you feel the body. And that feel is the feel of the electrical impulses running into every part of the body, including its induction current going to every cell, even without a nerve fiber, because the induction current is there. When so much of electrical energy is flowing here and there is an induction current. That's why, for example, even if the minutest tip of a pencil or a sharp object, pin, the minutest pin, without your awareness, somebody touches the backside of your shoulder, you will know. A minute ant crawling through the back of your head, you will know. That much is the electrical field spread all over the body. And once again I repeat, that electrical field is an electrical field, and it is in connection, it is in induction connectivity with the electrical field outside. That is how the ancient mystics could know every details of the universe. Otherwise, how was it possible for Bhaskara to identify the astronomical positions of the planetary system so accurately? How could Dhanvantari and Susruta and all that could identify the property of every leaf and every bark of the skin of the, bark of the plants and the trees and the seeds and the roots, and identified equally the properties of the human body and prepared the rasayanas or whatever. Sushruta identified the exact number of veins in the body, some 72,000 or whatever, which the modern anatomists also identify. How could they? Do you think they opened the body and counted the number of nerve fibers or veins, whatever? Not at all. But without that, by the energy field, they could identify that. Anyway, these are all different things. You don't have to do that level, unfortunately. But when four people, Dhanvantari or Sarngadara or Patanjali or Vyasan or some super mystics like that could see the wonders of the universe outside and inside, what the hell we are doing? I can ask you only this. I have done that. I am not just like that talking to ideology. That's why I talk so precisely. I am the one who is explaining how the Aham Brahmasmi is really there in actual reality. Not without any philosophy or spiritual literature, no. That which you sense inside your body is the you. That is the one that is sitting there. That is the one that makes you sit there. That's the one that makes you hear what I talk. That's the one that is coordinating whatever you are right now in a state of mind or attitude or whatsoever. There is no separate compartment where it is kept. In such a massive electrical field, there should be some central point. And that central point is just located in the spinal cord. The way it is trained. So for example, right now you feel your friend is your friend. Friend side, FRONT, friend. See, the U is oriented towards the front side, okay? Can you orient towards your backside? Can your attention go from your backside and onwards, back and further? You get what I say? The front view. Your sense about you is right now from the you to the front region. Okay? Now, can you see the back region? It requires some time because the so-called back is backside because the spinal cord and the brain is lying like that in the body. Of course, like Naveen said, you can go by the power of your intellect, by the power of your electrical field, you can feel your backside and rather, Naveen, can you look at your back as your friend? That's what I asked. Is the question clear? Yeah. Is the question clear? What Swara said? No. It's a no. It will take time. Naveen, the question is, right now your attention actually goes from the you towards the front only, not towards the back. I am not talking about seeing the backside. You see, you are positioned like that, in the way, to the front. That is the word I have to use, unfortunately. A similar is not there towards the back. You see? If you just replace your eyes, nose, mouth, chest, etc., this front side, keeping the body intact, just reverse, how it will be. Something like that is what I asked. That is because the spinal cord is lying down in that way inside the body. Because all the organs are in front of that, okay? Get the point, Naveen? You see that coverage of that three-dimensional body, okay, lying down, But the spinal cord is lying exactly at the back side, so-called back side. All the organs are either, it's always in its front. I mean, friend meaning the referent of its friend, okay? It is not on the other side, for example. Get the point? That itself is the evidence that you are the spinal cord. The you is carrying as if, oh, I am talking what I am experiencing or I experience. That central attention is sort of holding, carrying all the weight of the organs above that, Like a female is lying down, holding the weight of the man above her. The spinal cord is simply lying down. If you are lying down, for example, okay, spinal cord and the vertebral column, above that is covered. I mean, that above that region is the entire mass of things carried. All the reflexes are towards that side. The hand movements, the leg movements are all from that to the front, or that to the side, not to the back. And the body itself cannot turn like that. Our hand cannot go back like the way it goes to the front. Get the point, Naveen? Yeah. These are all simple things. But greatest truths are hiding in the simplest of things, my dear friends. Greatest truths are not mentioned in all this spiritual literature. They are all exemplifications of a single idea. That 490 or 500 page book, I am that by Nisargadatta Maharaj is an explanation of just one sentence. I am that, that's enough. But what is the that? Explaining that, it runs into 500 pages. And does anybody benefited? Nobody benefited. I am very sure about it. Because I have gone there. When I have gone there, I realized that all these are empty words. That's why I am so sure. Yeah. I have tasted the sugar. And I know all the thesis on sugar is not the sugar. You have to directly take the sugar piece and put it in your mouth. Then only you will get the sugar. Not by reading literature on sugar. So you have to thoroughly dedicate your attention to just go around. That's all we can do. Like a spy aircraft, like a drone, like a spy drone, you have to redirect, boomerang your attention around the region from the bottom portion of your head till the tip of your sacral bone. And your attention can definitely go there, and it can penetrate into the sacral bone, and you can really feel the tip of that iceberg, of that spinal cord. That's why I told you, when you try that, you keep a glass of water. I don't know, because when you try, it's a kind of a blind man's throw on the mango tree. If it hits, then definitely there will be actual physical consequence. Why? Why there will be physical consequence like a very terrible perspiration, heartbeat increasing, respiration increasing, as a result of which there is the so-called general anxiety. All these are, we will discuss. All these are functions of the autonomic nervous system only. All the emotions are the function of the autonomic nervous system only. The scaffolding of those emotions are the electrical impulse generated by the parasympathetic and sympathetic nervous system. But unfortunately, that human mind is translating that into words and talking all kinds of things and lose touch with the referent or the reality of what is called emotion. Now when you understand the autonomic nervous system, you will know what exactly to be done in the so-called corrupt word pranayama. Why pranayama, for example? What is pranayama? Exercising of respiration only, which has been given another name. This another name is the tragedy of human being. But that is required also. Exercising, systematic exercising or systematic use of the lungs, air intake, the lungs, which will reduce emotional turbulence and things like that, and it can lead up to so-called satori. Why? See, why it is so. This was also explained in the last session, the previous program. Why pranayama is so convenient. Anything is possible, but pranayama, forget about that name, just use your respiration. If you try to do pranayama, it will not work. Millions of people are doing pranayama. Nothing, no bullshit is happening, okay? Evidenced by the life of the people around. Why I talk like this? The data, the social data shows that the people are all disturbed, people get angry, people are irritated, people are all jealous, are covered by hatred and aggressiveness, and they are ready to burst out in any small stimulus. And they are all doing pranayama in the morning. I know at least 20 people around in this village. They are all corrupt people. They get furious at any point of time. So what use of pranayama? Because they are all trying to do pranayama. Close one nostrils, 1, 2, 3, 4, inhale, keep it there for 1, 2, 3, 4, and all this bullshit is corrupting that procedure. Of course, because it is on a central thing, it will have some effect for the time being. Why I say this is to make you convinced that you must follow your principles, your discoveries of what to do with your respiration. Do not go by the word respiration. Get out of the word respiration or breathing or anything. Look at the referent, look at the reality, what the creature is doing. The creature is taking in air, so-called air. The creature is taking in air and releasing air after taking whatever it is required. And what is the significance of that function? That is the only main function of the creature, where the you, the will of the you, the person you, the self of the you also has some control. At other times, the creature is controlling it. You understood what I should know it? At all times, the creature is doing the sequence of expiration and inspiration, taking in and giving out of air. Okay. But if you want, you can also control it. You can control the speed of it. You can take it at your will, keep it for some time. You also are given slight control, 50% control, but not 50 also. Okay, you can take in air and keep it there for maximum 2-3 minutes. Only great experts can keep it for 3 minutes. But beyond that, the creature will not allow you to do that. The creature will take control and snatch it out of you. In other words, prana, lungs, the respiratory, the movement of the lungs, see, nerve fibers from the parasympathetic system, sympathetic system on this side, I think you can see my arrow. Nerves from the sympathetic system, one part of the nerves from the, nerve impulses or electrical impulses from one part goes to the lungs, and electrical impulses from another part also coming to the same lungs. Okay. When you take control, it is actually this another part, the parasympathetic part is controlling, because the parasympathetic is just closer to the brain, the central operating field. When you stop respiration, or when you hold your intake or a release or keeping it there, okay, the creature is adjusting to it for some time, but because of the so-called prana requirements or oxygen requirements of the body, for its organic survival, I have to forcibly snatch your control, and it will make a force, the acceleration or inspiration. Get the point? In other words, this respiratory function is a joint, is a junction where you can try to access control on the spinal cord or that central operating distribution system. Get the point? So with this understanding you do it. But with this understanding when you do it, as I told you, keep a bottle of water nearby. Because you are fooling around with the greatest creature in the whole world. When his powers are unleashed, you will be shocked. Definitely, 100%. It will be a shock. And much before the shock, of course, the system itself will warn you. Because when your attention goes to that level of respiratory control or goes near the spinal cord and the ganglions nearby, because that attention is what? That attention also is a process of the very electrical field. Get the point? Get the point, Naveen? The one who is focusing attention on the spinal cord is able to do that because of the function of the spinal cord. Therefore, it will rarely come together. Because it is fusing, it is fusion, it is yoga. It is very dangerous, it is an explosion. There will be an explosion, really, I am telling you. So, because I am telling you in advance all these things, you will be careful. But everybody will be careful, no doubt, because as your attention nears that ganglionic transformer center, the heartbeat will increase, because attention is an energy. Attention generated by the energy of the body goes to itself, which will generate further impulses, and the heartbeat will increase. Certain enzymes and other things will be released into the stomach and all that. Sometimes you will have a strong tendency to go to the toilet if the bowels are not emptied before, or and then there will be definitely heartbeat increasing, and the respiration also will increase, and the electrical impulses distributed all over the body. As I told you, that inner body, electrical body, touching at the subcutaneous or the skin level will stimulate all the sweat glands, and it will start perspiring, because temperature control, everything will get immediately a shake. I say all these things only to inspire you to try to contact that which is creating and maintaining the you. The so-called that in you, the so-called I in you. No. You call yourself by the, Naveen does not call himself Naveen. Anirudh does not call him Anirudh. Nor Vinay or Mantra Rishika or Ameya or anybody. You call you by the word I. Whether you are a Muslim or a Christian or a Jain or a Parsi or any damn thing in the world, every human being calls himself or herself by the word I, or the equivalent of I. But that I is completely camouflaged and corrupted by many other descriptions, and every wonderful human being is reduced into a stupid entity by the society, by the so-called God-controlled religions. And living a so-called stupid life and thinking that they are somebody. They will have a bloody shock of realization at the last gate of leaving the body. Not a doubt about that. Till then, disregarding that marvelous engine and looking towards some bloody verbose ideologies in the textbooks, They have been guiding themselves and directing themselves and thinking that they are somebody else. That is why the Rishi said, Ajnana timirandasya. Human beings are blind. Timiram. Timiram is not blindness. That means eyesight lost by an illness. Ajnanam, ignorance. Ajnana timirandasya. Definitely. And I want you to liberate yourself from the shackles of that misunderstanding of the self and the you and the realities I am indicating. Only the tips of the iceberg though. That is called genius in self. When you reach that level, little bit, do not go to that level. You don't have to enter into the vertebral column. Even that is possible. Your attention can go safely inside the vertebral column. Definitely possible. If it can go to a pinpoint, I cut your hand with a blade, okay? Can you take your attention from there? No. That means attention can go to specific spots. Because attention is the general purpose, general field of the electrical field only. Under your control. Same with the pranayama. It is half the time under your control, half the time out of your control. It goes its own eccentric ways. Because attention also is directly, attention is the main thing. We will come to attention a little later. Even attention is the central power of any entity, understand? From an earthworm, from an amoeba to the so-called human being. Even an amoeba will notice the presence of a praying entity outside. An earthworm, you just go nearby. An ant, you just go nearby. It will change its course. Attention. Whatever is named attention. Don't get carried away by the English word attention. Whatever that which is called attention is the central point. And that attention is generated by the spinal cord. Anyway, that is whether from spinal cord or from the tip of the tongue doesn't matter. But realize that the attention is the major tool that you can operate. I said some time back the role of the respiration process. But the major thing, the you is nothing but that attention. I am just elevating. I am going to the core orbit. The you is nothing but your attention. And attention is any time, every time on something. Okay? And when that attention is taken to its own source, a fusion will happen. That is called yoga. Yoga meaning yoking, a fusion. The snake swallowing its own tail and disappearing. Alright? Reflect on all these things for some time, looking at the diagram.